welcome back. Nihon no tomodachi e yokoso. Today we're going to be going through the AWS Management Console. So we're going to give a brief overview of what's in there, some of their services, but then we're going to have more of a deep dive on EC2, IAMs, and the popular S3. So if you don't have the console, you can go to AWS and register and you can get one. I do recommend that you also download Google Authenticator. So that will basically give you an MFA. So it just makes your console a bit more secure, basically. So you'll get a code and you'll have to put the code in to have access to it. So I definitely recommend that. Just a quick overview of AWS services. Now they have, I think, they have around 600 odd services actually, or more. They are always bringing out new stuff, which is great. So you have compute. So this is where you have your EC2 instances. If you're on-premise, that would be a server, and if you're coming from a GCP background, that would be your VM, virtual machine. IAMs, so security, identity and compliance. So this is a big one, I think, for all companies, everyone. So you want to make sure that you're set up correctly and the right people have permissions and access to your servers or instances, and just many other things you can explore in terms of security when you start to build out your AWS services. Containers, we're going to do that probably a bit further down the line because it's a bit more advanced actually if you are a beginner. And yeah, so storage, S3. So these are your buckets and your file systems and all of that good stuff. So we'll go through that as well in this lecture. And databases, there's quite a few. So we're going to have to, I'll probably do a number of tutorials where one for databases, one fully for IAMs and securities, and some of the other services. So if there's something in particular that you want to go through, then leave comments at the bottom and I will create that tutorial for you. VPC is a huge one as well, so I'm definitely going to add that to the playlist. Okay, let's get started. So we're in the EC2 dashboard and we're going to launch some instances. So you'll see here EC2. So instance types. Oh, come on. So instance types. So this is based on the size you want. So it depends on the kind of job that you're doing there, and they all come with prices attached as well. So. And the good thing about AWS is that it's a pay-as-you-go service. So you're charged for what you use basically. So in this case, size matters. Launch template. So if you're launching EC2 instances regularly and you know what those look like, so you know the size and it's something that you're going to be doing constantly, then you can just create a template, and that is written in JSON. Spot requests. So spot request instances. So maybe you come to work in the morning, everyone's trying to log on at the same time and it's really slow. Spot instances are really good in terms of that user case, or if you're just going to have an extra load just for a short period of time, spot instances are good. Savings plans, reserved instances are quite expensive, and dedicated host means that you're the only person that has access to those instance types. So let's launch our first instance. Launch instance. Okay, so AMI. So AMI, it does have a brief description at the top there, but what it does is it packages everything ready, so all of your software, everything required to actually launch your instances in the cloud. There are different types here. I would stick to free tier if you're just having a play around. I'm a Linux person, so I will stick with that, but there are other options that you can use, if you're familiar with some of the other instances. So we'll just select that. Okay, so again, general purpose. So with the EC2 instances, there are many flavors. In fact, let me go to the top here and just show you quickly which types you can have. So general purpose, compute optimized, GPU instances, memory optimized, and storage optimized. So again, it really depends on your user case of what you're going to be doing in this cloud space. But just keep in mind that they all come at different cost prices. Okay, so I'm going to stick into the free tier. So we're going to stay in T2 Micro. Next. How many instances do I want to launch? I'm just going to keep that as 1. And network default VPC. So I've created a default VPC just for this tutorial. I do have another VPC that is fully up and running and everything like that, but just for this we'll do that. Subnet, so you will always get these basically, and if it's not there, then you might have to go back and provision them. Okay, so that all looks good to me. Let's just go down. Okay, that's fine. Add storage. Okay, so we did say that we were going to talk about S3. For now, I'm not going to add any storage, so we'll add storage in the next lecture. Add tags. So do you want to add tags? So there's a description at the top here which tells you what you can do. So key like name and value web server. So we'll just call this for now. The name is train. Yep. And okay, web 1 2. I think I've used web 12 because I think I've used web 1 already. So configure security groups. So here you can create a new security group, select an existing security group. So this is back to IAM, so we will do a session on that. So you can customize your security groups. Basically you can have admin, the super users who's going to have access in terms of SSH, so that's just remotely going into the site. So you've got it here, SSH option. So we will say we'll keep that. We do want to have that. We're going to add another rule here, and so that's TCP. Yep, we do want that as well. We want to go over the internet, so I would say HTTP or HTTPS. Actually, I'm just add HTTPS as well. Okay, yeah. So if you're not familiar with networking, these might seem a little bit alien to you. So port range. So this is basically the telephone number. It's it's calling to access to access. Yeah, so I'll explain some of that later. Some of you might be, well, we should all be accustomed to, you know, TCP like email and stuff like that. Port 80 normally is internet, so without that, a lot of things are not going to work. So let's review. Oh, CIDR block, let's see. Let's change that. So this message here for CIDR block, however you want to you know, pronounce that, is basically this bit here, and it's asking for a range, so nothing will work without that. So the options, you go to customs, and if you're at home, you can select my IP, so your instance and networking will be, you know, whatever route provider you're using, it will be on that IP network. Let's just go for anywhere, so that should be fine. Review and launch. Okay, just check everything there. So we've got we're on the Linux 2 AMI. Instance type is T2 micro. Security group, so launch wizard, so we can change that, but you have a default. And this is our security groups and access over you know, the internet basically. Instance detail, storage tags, okay, that's fine, so we're going to launch that. The KeyPair, so I have a KeyPair already, but I'm going to create a new one for this. Okay, so the KeyPair name will be Train 2020. Now it's really important to keep your KeyPair safe and don't lose it, because if you do, that is going to be problematic in terms of accessing the EC2 instance that you've built now. So, okay, back in a sec while that downloads. Okay, let's launch this. Here we go. So your instance are now launching. Sometimes it can take a while, sometimes it doesn't. So if we just click on that there, it will take you to your EC2 dashboard, and it will show you that it's running. So yeah, back in a bit. And here we go. So you have your first EC2 instance. It's all good. If you look at the bottom, this just gives you a brief description and overview of what's going on. So yeah, your DNS IPv4 is this. You are in the US East region. So always another thing to do as well is just to keep an eye on your right hand side at the top corner there to see what region you're in, because it can get a little bit confusing if you're launching quite a few instances. So EC2 availability zone, VPC ID, you will be needing that. IAM role, so the IAM role here, source indicated, well, yeah, so this is it here. So you can change the roles of your instances and add specific security groups to them as well. Okay, I hope that was fun. See you next time. Bye.